Life. I am Precious Chukudi. Beginning with the front pages of the paper, starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with after years of neglect, primary health care centers collapse nationwide. The writer says most lack basic infrastructure, personnel, and drugs. Only 6,000 functional in total. Declare emergency in primary health care. That's come from NMA. Uncompleted PHC abandoned after gulping 14 million naira in Ondo. FCT only 30 PHCs adequately equipped. 60% of PHCs in Lagos defunct. That's coming from Commissioner. A slain female lawyer, my daughter was pregnant with twins. That's coming from her mother. We can also see a photo story showing the victims of landmines suspected to have been planted by bandits in Niger State. On page 9, federal government will soon make pronouncements on salary increase. That's come from Ngige. Wike colleagues torn between Tinubu Obi. Integrity Group moves to London. Article sure of victory despite G5 threats. IPOP to federal government security agencies. We're not distracted by your lies, blackmail. Stories above: bandits kidnap 16 in Kaduna community. 2023 presidency, Arthur Eze, LP clash over Obi's ambition. The writers say it's likes of Eze were taking power from. That's coming from Obi's spokesman. Why Obi must drop ambition. Lastly, on the front page of a Vanguard newspaper, Naira redesign, currency outside banks fall by 190 billion naira. All right, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with hope deemed as 15.9 billion naira Nigeria Air lands in court. The writer says misses a sixth takeoff. Federal government in desperate move to salvage unpopular venture. Buhari's 2015 pledge. Local airline operators, aviation union divided on prospects. Analyst seeks urgent review of model for sustainability. Ruto to sell loss-making Kenya Airways. Igbo rise against Arthur Eze. Others over opposition to Peter Obi. You can see that on page 6. Fans on rampage as Two-Face abandons contract, fails to show up for concerts. Stories above: 2023 economist task government on insecurity, oil theft. Verification of sureties by police, EFCC, others faulted. Worries over political violence in Rivers as thugs vandalized SDP office. Lastly, on the front page of The Guardian, we have Shetima false poll ranking Atiku to win 2023 poll. Moving on to The Nation newspaper, The Nation is leading with government raises hope on salary increase for workers in 2023. The writer says move to caution rise in inflation effects, says Ngige. There's a quote that says the Presidential Committee on Salaries is already reviewing the salary structure and is expected to come up with salary adjustment in the new year. Ipman insists on improved supply to end petrol crisis. Motorist kills 7 in Calabar Carnival Parade. The writer says the governor expresses sadness, event cancelled abruptly. Stories above: ex-governor Namani predicts Tinubu's victory. And lastly, on the front page of The Nation, slain lawyer was pregnant with twins. Buhari killing heinous. All right, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with a PDP crisis. Aggrieved governors may endorse Obasanjo as a candidate January 5th. The writer says that governors at London meeting vowed to back Southern presidency. Name your presidential candidate. PDP dares angry governors. Good luck to Atiku if he thinks he can win without us. That's coming from Bode George. Oyo Niger crashes kill 27 die in Calabar Carnival. Lagos seeks recovery of 3 drowned beachgoers. Ekiti Tribunal delivers a judgment today. And stories above: economic crunch, Senate proposes 376 new agencies. Sean's Oronsaye's reports. Naira redesign, flooding affected agri sector 2022. That's coming from the governors. And lastly, on the front page of The Nation newspaper, we have presidential panel reviewing workers' salary, and that's coming from Igige. And that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers this morning. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. And if you're just joining, still today in the news on Vanguard Life, I am Precious Chukudi. Joining me to talk about some of the stories on the front pages of the papers this morning is Mr. Gbenro Olajigbe. He is the Executive Director of Emergency and Risk Alert. Good morning, sir. and compliments of the season to you.
Fine. It's a pleasure being with you.
All right, let's delve in this morning. And we're looking at, as we know already, primary health care centers are not meeting the needs of Nigerians for essential services, health services. And this is as a result of years of neglect and also poor funding. What's your take on this?
Well, that shows the dire strait in which the public health sector is in Nigeria, particularly when you are talking of primary level care. Is the most important in the sense that more than 70% of Nigerian population reside in rural areas that have no access to both secondary and tertiary health centers in Nigeria. When we were growing up, the concept we are used to is the concept of what used to be known as dispensary and maternity. Dispensary and maternity, they address primary health needs in those days. And of course, if you are able to take care of those ones, then the rest will be, both secondary and tertiary health institution will be able to handle the rest. But today, you have somebody that is having malaria and is going to a national hospital, is going to university college hospitals around that are even in themselves almost dilapidating in terms of resources, in terms of materials they need to work, equipment they need to work now. So it is really appalling that Nigerians are unhealthy and yet they have no place, majority of Nigeria has no place to go to. They have just become, of course, you don't even talk of primary health care system in Nigeria of today. Because hardly can you find anywhere across the states that we have in the country. I remember in those days when you go to primary school, you sustain injury on your leg, no problem. You just run to what we used to call dispensary and maternity centers in our villages and everything in those days. And you are taken care of. At that particular time, it's not even about building alone. You go there, you are sure of having primary response to your needs at that particular time, whether it's in terms of injury, in terms of headache or fever, or malaria, or whatever is wrong at that level. And if need be, you have competent resource person in nurses, matron that will refer you to secondary health care centers. It's not you don't even need to go to for most of Nigerians, most of the sicknesses and diseases that afflict Nigeria today, you don't even need to visit what they call hospital now if our primary health care is functioning. Of course, this is equally understandable because local government system is dead already, and this is expected to be funded and supervised by local government authorities. And there's nothing like that again. Governors, they don't care about that. All they need to do is to look at how do we project what they now call state-of-the-art hospital. How many people will go to their so-called state-of-the-art hospital? For themselves, who don't actually use those things eventually, who has money, health care in a way that majority of Nigeria will benefit and everything. But that is not in the agenda. It's not what is driving governance, particularly health sector governance in Nigeria of today. So it's really appalling. And you can see anybody that is sick, unlucky to be sick, and you don't even have money, you don't have anything now. You don't even have alternative than to go to chemist, what they call chemists, local dispensers, and then you collect your drug there, whether recommended or not, and whether it's equally adulterated or not, whether it's counterfeit or genuine. You don't care again as long as you are able to just get small money to buy what you think is doing you, is affecting you, or is wrong with you. So it's a lot of sectors in Nigeria are in dire straits, and that is why we encourage Nigeria that they should take all this into consideration before they vote. They cast their vote, and not for somebody who will not even address, who is too big to address what majority of Nigeria needs. I think the whole essence of democracy is to ensure that majority of people have access to pleasure and enjoyment in the sense that is connoted as their rights. Right to health is essential in Nigeria, and if majority of your people have no access to health care, it's as good as no health system in Nigeria. I think after Professor Oliko Yerason-Kuti, Nigeria has never had what you can refer to as primary health system.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Benro, I would like to ask, there have been series of strategies, in order to revitalize the primary health care centers, but none has been able to achieve any form of purpose. Why do you think so?
Which strategy do they adopt? I'm telling you what is actually wrong is that, one, do they have the capacity? Before you even talk of strategy, in your strategy, if you develop strategy, are you not going, if assuming that you even have the buildings in those villages, are you not going to resource them? Who is that government that is funding nursing education today? Primarily to energize and restructure the primary health centers that you have. Who is encouraging people now to do that? Aside from that, what if the budget for health? And that is one thing that Nigerians don't know. We always say that when we are analyzing budget, we say that the current budget is more than capital budget. Capital budget is in fact, is another name for accommodating corruption in our system, because most of the money in capital budget ends up in contractor, phony contractor, fake contractors, incompetent contractors' pockets. And it doesn't impact anything when eventually it doesn't translate to good health care, even when that is there. So budget is a problem. And when I'm talking of budget here, you see there are two elements of people that are critical to economy: teachers and health responders. I'm not saying that other sectors are not good. Those ones you can never do without them. As long as you don't of people there, the doctors and everything. Do you know how many doctors that maybe you didn't read the president of NMA's report about Nigerians moving abroad in droves, to the extent that even including UCH in Ibadan, which is even tertiary institution, tertiary healthcare center. Many Nigerian doctors have moved abroad and everything. So it is not even going to affect the primary health system. And this is happening because we don't pay attention to our health system. Look at the language of the health minister when the doctors were on strike. He said they could go abroad, Nigeria, but we are paying for it now. So all this one, those who make that statement cannot develop a working strategy to remediate the problem that we have in the health sector. So it's not about, look, if you want to do that, what I want to see if you are building strategy is that, okay, develop strategy. Strategy that is participatory, that has major input of those who are in the health sector. Secondly, how are you going to resource the strategy that you have developed? Resourcing in terms of human resource, in terms of budgetary allocation, in terms of capacity building, in terms of equipment that are necessary for these centers. Look, there is a model that we have, a model created by Professor Oliko Yerason-Kuti when he was Minister of Health. May God bless his soul and make him to rest in peace. The model is there, but are we following that? The model was that no Nigerians who live, whether irrespective of where you live, that you have to travel more than 10 kilometers before, or 5 kilometers then, I can't remember now, before you are able to access primary health care. Do we have that model? Look at even the notification. This aside from even attending to people. If you have working primary health system, when Ebola, what do we call it, this COVID-19 came the other day, and if those people are well capacitated and they well resourced, they are the one who become your notification officers, tracing the contacts and everything that will continue to run, mobilizing people from center to come and be doing and cross the states and all those type of things. So we don't have the strategy we have. I don't think is going to work without having a major input from those in the sector, and at the same time without the strategy being led by those in healthcare sector who know and who are compassionate enough to appreciate the fact that majority of Nigerians who fall sick, particularly of malaria and other that needs primary health care, are in rural areas where you don't have doctors and nurse, aside from the one you call auxiliary nurse that are poorly trained at private hospitals and that can actually not function in a well focused strategic strategic position, strategic health center system
Hmm. All
that
right,
we
Mr.
should
Gbero.
have. So those are the issues.
Hmm. All right, Mr. Gbero. According to reports that we have here, they're saying that Nigeria is not on track to meet the Sustainable Development Goal 3 to reduce the maternal mortality ratio to less than 70 per 100,000 live births. How do you respond to this?
It's connected to what I've just spoken. If you don't have a working, because most of the women, especially those who procreate in me the most, are among the bracket of the poor, those who are in the bracket of poor people. They procreate a lot, so they are exposed to most danger. And we have just spoken now, they have no access to health care. Most of them attend Babalawo, maybe pray in the church, they don't even register for antenatal, not to even talk of postnatal. So they don't register for anything, they are not attended to. In fact, it's only on the date of birth they are looking for 1 year baby to come and support them.
All right, we lost our guest, Mr. Gbero. He's trying to reconnect, but let's just move ahead and look at Mr. and Mrs. And Mrs. is speaking. Says, "What's going on? That was the sixth woman who came to deliver Christmas hamper to you. Call it jealousy. I don't care. Just give a good explanation." And Mr. reply says, "There are more women than men in population." Speaking about Christmas hamper, I mean, this is the season. Everybody's just taking hampers left, right, and center. But then again, for me, sir, that's a whole lot too. Who are these women coming to drop hampers? All right. Also, remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Also, for to find out more up-to-date stories, you can go to our website at www.vanguardngra.com to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi.